I'm Jasmine Yvette.
And this is Big Freedia the Queen Diva.
And this is Mixed Company, New Orleans edition.
I always knew when I opened my mouth, power was on the other end. My name is Jasmine Yvette, originally born and raised in New Orleans, but my story is so similar to many of my neighbors, but not to the majority of the world. After losing my boyfriend to gun violence in front of me 11 years ago, my purpose became bigger than me. Living out my life motto, when I started to tell my story, I started to heal. But when I started to listen to other people's stories, I found my purpose. Mixed Company is a series of stories from some of the most influential, creative, inspiring culture shifters like Super Scent, PJ Morton Jr., Tank, and Big Freedia from the same streets, neighborhoods, cities, or states you are from. You will know and feel inspired to be the next best success story straight from your hometown. Conversations about healing, change, truth, and the blueprint to success in life. It hasn't always been pretty, and some are still in the mud in the midst of their journey. But one thing, no matter where you come from or who you are, joining my conversation will allow you to see you are never alone. This conversation doesn't stop when the interview ends. Continuing this conversation is the mantra. Welcome to Mixed Company.
I am sitting with the Queen of Bounce, the Queen of New Orleans, an imprint in this city that's beyond her flesh, the mover of wiggle, the shakedown god, Sunday's best, and oh yes, nothing less than the best in every bounce set. The legend, a spirit you can feel from a mile away. Freedia, hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm so happy to have you here with me.
I'm grateful to be here.
So you have always been unapologetically yourself. Tell me where that confidence of Big Freedia was birthed.
Well, that comes from my mama. So my mom, she was this diva that just spoke her mind, and she instilled that in me. She always had my back. She fought for me. She always pushed me to do more and more. She always had my back. So she was my backbone. She was my strength. She was the one who gave me that confidence, the lady who born me.
Yes. So you were around for the birth of Bounce. Being backup dancer for legendary Katie Red, tell me about that special time in New Orleans. What was New Orleans like in 1998, 1999?
So when Katie first came out, it was something very special. It was something new because Katie was like the first trans girl to step into the game, and it changed the game totally. So it was fun times back then, having a friend who was one of the first to get in the game. Gave me an opportunity to see it firsthand and to be there and to be in the mix of recording, to be in the mix of knowing, all the different bounce artists, to get to be able to perform with them. And it was special moments. And I was able to actually record with Katie, do songs with Katie, perform with her and background sing for her, dance with her, so it was amazing times back then. The energy was crazy. The girls was like, going bananas in the ballrooms because it was something new and funky and fresh. The slangs that we were coming up with, it was catchy, it was messy. So the girls just was living, and those were some memorable moments back then. And it was not like those days. Just the energy and the originality of coming up with the music and the songs and the catchphrases that we did. That's what created us. And just our girls in the neighborhoods who we grew up with, our friends, our surroundings, that's what made the sounds of bounce.
Yes. And so outside of yourself and Katie Red, can you just bring me back to that time where who were those key people that brought this sound to life that you could point out outside yourself?
Oh my God, it was...
Just to give them their flowers, because again, I just feel
most definitely. The legendaries. It was from the T.T. Tuckers, the DJ Jimmys, the DJ Irvs, the Miss T's, the Cheeky Blacks, the Partners in Crimes, DJ Jubilee, MC Spud, just all of the legends that came and paved the way for bounce music. Even Lil Wayne and Juvie, the whole Cash Money, all of them, they had the family of bounce, which was Magnolia Shorty and Miss T. Even Master P side, they had their hands in it. Great legends, Mia X, You know, all of them back then.
That time was like no other.
No, there was no other. In New Orleans, we've been had special music. We've been had amazing talent here and people that was pushing it out. And once Cash Money and No Limit got out, that gave us a bigger platform to say, hey, New Orleans got some stamps on it, and we got some real soldiers down there that create a awesome sound and a unique sound. So bounce music been captivated for so long, and then we got a chance to start spreading it to the world, and that's where I kind of came into play.
Right.
Being able to step outside of New Orleans and travel and make people aware of the culture and the music and the sound, and just bring lots of joy and asses all around the world. And I'm grateful to be able to have that platform and to make it bigger for all of us.
And that's what I was going to ask you. When did you know that you made the sound an international sound?
Well, when I started traveling in 2010, and I did 5 shows in New York with Spank Rock, and it was just a buzz. Like, New York was going crazy. People, the New York Times picked it up. I had my first big article, Bus Magazine. They started following me, and they've been following my career ever since. So it just was that time back then where I knew this is about to be something different.
Amazing.
And when I came back from New York and I was decorating, because I was still doing my interior design at the time, you know, they had 2 white guys running up the street, and it was like, you Big Freedia. And I'm like, how the hell do you know me? They was like, we read about you in the New York Times. So then I knew something new hadn't happened right then and there, and it changed my life forever.
That's amazing. So I really want you to speak about the culture of bounce, because you can have an 8-year-old bouncing to a 60-year-old.
Listen, from babies to grandmas.
Exactly. And so for other people, they think that, like, what are they doing? It's provocative.
No, that's just
our culture.
It's our culture. It's the way that we were raised. Yeah. Like, we come from it. They was doing it when we got here, and they gonna be doing it when we leave here. You understand what I'm saying? Like I say, it's from babies to grandmas.
Yes.
That twerk.
Yes.
You know, one time when I did the World Guinness record for twerking, and I set the record, I had a 60-year-old lady out there shaking down. You see what I'm saying? So it's about being able to do an art form of dance that you can express yourself and not feel judged, not feel like you are doing something over sexual. You know, I let women come to my dance floor and they feel liberated, and they feel be able to freedom of expression through dance. They get on that dance floor and they just have a party. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. Having a good time, laying your hair down for a few moments, and then getting back to your everyday life.
Yeah, letting that spirit loose.
Yes.
Gotta let it loose.
And it's like a spirit. When you come to a Freedia show, it's like a
just
revival. You know what I'm saying? They're like, girl, you feel like I went to church with the bounce shirt. Right. You know?
So almost 20 years after dropping your first single, was there ever a time that you thought New Orleans bounce music would never hit an international level? I feel like you never gave up on the sound of bounce.
No, I never gave up. And I wasn't the first to make it even hit the charts. DJ Jimmy actually was. Way back then, DJ Jimmy was on the charts. They are still using samples from DJ Jimmy. DJ Jimmy is one of the legendaries who really created the sound. And I mean, they were rapping like New York rappers back then. They were like doing real phenomenal rapping, and they paved the way for me even to be sitting here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
gotta tilt my hat off to all the legends that came before me. That's why I'm able to be who I am.
Yeah. So being from New Orleans, I left 10 years ago. I left 10 years ago because my boyfriend got murdered and killed in front of me. It's okay. You know, I've always said I've been to more funerals than I've been to weddings. And but I realized it wasn't New Orleans I was afraid of. It's the guns that are allowed to be brought in this city. If New Orleans gun laws was as strict as New York, I think buku people would be alive here. You did a documentary speaking on removing guns out of the streets of New Orleans after losing your brother. Can you speak to me a little about Freedia Got Guns documentary and what that would do for New Orleans, black men in New Orleans, and then the guns laws in Louisiana?
Well, it's something that this needs to be enforced. We lose too many of our black brothers especially, but now it's going to women and children.
It is.
And it's becoming even more sad to see. it's like it became a norm here in New Orleans, and people are like, oh, such and such got killed. We gonna get a
It's
T-shirt.
a
We gonna
norm.
it's a norm, and it's not supposed to be the norm. This is a pandemic in New Orleans that needs to be fixed and changed. When I lost my brother, it took another part of my heart. When I lost my mother, it took another part of my heart. But when it's to violence, it's a different type of hurt. You understand? And mothers and families having to cry and bury their kids. It's just something that needs to change in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We're losing kids for a lot of nonsense. It can be the smallest thing that they're taking their lives for. And like I tell people all the time, trouble is so easy to get into, but it is hell to get out. And we got to do better with our kids. It starts at home. They're only doing the things that they see their cousin, their brother, their uncles. They're only following the men that are around them.
Yeah.
And when you change the surroundings, you got to want better for your kids. So it's up to us as parents, as, a community. We have to also start going back to the old days like a community.
Really pulling up on these kids.
Really pulling up. Telling their parents when you see them, I couldn't do nothing and my mama didn't find out. You hear me?
Okay.
And they will tell you, I'm going to tell your mama.
Yeah.
But it's not like that no more because people are afraid to get involved in other people's business. And also, the kids are so wild.
16, 15 years
Yeah,
old.
the people are afraid to tell them something because they might do them something. So it's like, we got to start back at home. It's very important for this training to start at home. They say, train up a child the way that they go.
Okay.
And when they get old, they shall not depart.
Okay.
You got to do what you got to do.
And I think that's something that really hit home with me because I always stayed away from New Orleans thinking that it's just violence. And I'm like, no, it's not New Orleans.
It's not.
And when I came back home for these 3 months, I'm like, New Orleans is so beautiful. Like, I can't believe I let the violence run me away from
New
the
Orleans
city.
is just a place. We are the people that make it home.
Yep, you're right. You're right, you're so right. So your sound has made it international. Beyonce, Drake, Kasha. Naysayers feel like you didn't get the recognition you deserve, but by not being in those videos. But I feel like you're very proud.
I am
very
proud.
honored to work with those people.
Oh man, that's
what does
legend.
it mean to work with them?
Listen, that's legendary.
Right.
To work with people of their caliber. I'm just very grateful, very humble, to be even a part of their project.
Right.
I wasn't upset about not being in the video. A lot of times the fans don't know what's going on the back end. I had stuff going on. I was on tour making money. She
Okay.
was shooting a video. I had to get my coin dollars, girl. Okay. So, Drake hadn't already did his whole project. And I came in and just spiced it up at the end.
I love it.
People didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did it maybe like 5 days before it came out.
Wow.
The video was shot way before that.
Wow.
So things happen in the music business, and
You're
sometimes
just proud to be a part of it.
I'm just proud to be a part.
That's the
As long as the check clear. You hear what I'm
okay,
saying?
that is so real.
Yeah, as long as the check clear, girl. And
So-
Kesha just was a whole nother level.
I know.
Me and Kesha connected on the Kesha cruise, and we connected and became friends.
Mm-hmm.
We built a relationship. We did 2 songs. They went on the charts. Like, things went...
Millions of views.
I mean, things just went haywire.
Crazy. And so I was going to ask you that tour in 2020 has been canceled, and I know you were excited to go on tour with her.
Oh, my God.
But for artists like yourself that interacts with your crowd, you live on the road, how have this time, and you not being able to interact with your friends, how have you been able to expand your brand and actually talk to them?
I've been expanding my brand in so many ways. I've been performing virtually.
Wow.
I've come out with my own cooking show.
Yes, I saw it and I love it.
So I am branding myself in new ways. I'm figuring out how to revive, rejuvenate, and reflect on my life and what I can do differently to, just change some things. So many things are habit to us, and we're so routine to so many things. But now it's time to change some things and figure out just other ways of living and, changing your resources, meeting new people, figuring out what's happening with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to reflect on you.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing. Just, spending time with family.
I was going to say that time that you probably would have never got if this
No.
pandemic would have happened.
Yeah, stuck at home with my partner.
Exactly.
A lot of times we're apart because I'm on the road, but just allowing me a chance to really, be with the people that I love, and I have a chance to really spend some time with them because I'm always gone.
Yes.
So when I'm home, it really feels like home because I'm always on the road. So when I'm at home, I don't like to move. I want to cook everything at home.
Don't disturb.
Yes. Just sleep and chill with my family.
I love that. I love that. So Shakedown Fridays have turned into something special, not just for the people wanting to learn how to shake, but you have set up to give back to the people that are affected and also helping your crew. Why?
Well, I mean, listen.
Because you don't have to. Not to say you don't have to, but everybody's on the same level right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. But see, as being just a boss, you know, you feel the pain of your people, and I try to do what I can do for my people.
I love that.
A lot of times they have went for the back for me, and you know, they help me to be who I am.
That's
and
true.
They help. It takes a team, and my team is my people who help me in my everyday situations in my career. So I got to do what I got to do for my people. You know what I'm saying? Just show back love in any way that I can.
I love that. I love that. The food in our city is like no other.
None.
I always say, if you get to New Orleans, I mean, you find a wife.
Well,
We
I
know.
second that motion. Because when you have his stomach,
You have his heart.
baby. Yes, you do. That good old Camellia red bean.
Okay, so you know how to fill up somebody's heart, literally. You are a professional cook, how you get down in the kitchen. Why is it spiritually healing for you to cook? You do Big Freeda's Kitchen on Gospel Sundays, and you really show the Southern cuisine. And I find healing in when you do it. Like, you give me like this.
Oh, I mean, it gives me joy just to give God praise first and foremost, because without him, none of this is possible for to even just, you know, be able to wake up and breathe. So it also gives me a chance to really let the fans know and see where I come from and my roots. And I was a choir director, you know, that's where I come from, my whole background. Taught my high school choir, went back and taught after school.
Yes.
You know, traveled with the Gospel Soul Children of New Orleans, Gospel Music Workshop of America. So I've done so many things, and all of that gives me a chance to reflect on my childhood, my mom, my family, my aunt, you know, all of that. The Sunday
Brings
Big
you
Mama
back.
Kitchen, it just brings me back. So it gives me a chance to reflect on my family, my loved ones, and everything that keeps me grounded.
Yeah.
That keeps me grounded. You know, God keeps me humble and it keeps me grounded. And in my cooking, I can express all of that because I can give all my love back into my cooking.
You put your foot in it.
Yeah, definitely. Every time. And my family, they come over all the time. They be running. I be like, who this is now? They be expecting. When we know he gonna show us love, though, it's just that Southern charm that I just was raised on and have to, you know, continue it. Because when my mom and my aunt left, I actually carried the torch now for my family.
As far as cooking.
As far as cooking. And being that I'm right in the middle of the older and the younger generation, I'm able to bring them all together.
Right. You never forgot where you come from. You are always putting New Orleans.
Josephine. You heard me?
You always put New Orleans on the map.
Oh yeah, baby.
Even when
24/7.
even with Queen Queen of Bounce on Fuse.
Oh yeah.
You highlighted the New Orleans culture like across the board.
It's all about New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans built me.
It did.
You know, this is where I'm born and raised. This is what I breathe. Bounce music is what I've learned to love and appreciate and became my career. So there's no culture in love like the people of New Orleans. And I'm so proud to be from New Orleans and to represent my city is like,
no, and that's what I wanted to ask you. You know, as much as you represent your city, I still feel like they consider New Orleans like the underdog. Or they say Atlanta and Houston are like the bigger cities. Why do you don't think that we are on that level yet? Do you think Katrina held us back, or why don't we have the potential to be as big as Atlanta and Houston?
Listen, only because we're not that big of a city being the size. But we're just as big as them. Because guess what? There's no place like New Orleans. None in the world.
Our accents, our twists.
Listen, baby, they love the culture. They love the city. So they can have all these places that's humongous. And, you know, every place has its own touch. So we have ours. We the boot, baby.
We the boot.
We the boot.
We the boot.
Ain't nothing like it.
So when I grew up, the word fag, sissy, gay didn't really offend the gay community in New Orleans. But when I stepped outside and the LGBTQ plus community came, those words really, really, I think offend them as far as just the, fags, sissy. But then when I grew up and I hear people like Sissy Nobi, his name's actually Sissy Nobi.
Right. So
what do you think about those words? Because I heard you say once, those don't bother you. You feel like you embraced it when you were a kid and was like, oh well, and
yeah, I'd had to.
You know what I mean?
Because a lot of times they thought that using those words in a derogatory way,
gonna hurt you.
that it was going to hurt me. So I started to accept it and let them know that all you doing is making me tougher. All you doing is making that skin so tough that you can't break who I am. And that's what I did with it. A lot of people can't do that though. A lot of people are not strong enough to have that will to say, I'm gonna take this and put it in one ear and let it go out the other.
Exactly.
Because
those words, and it may have offended the community, but when I remember being in New Orleans, that's what I used to hear. All of the songs.
Listen, yeah, you used to hear it, but it also used to offend them. But being that it was such a small community, they was afraid to fight back because we was not the majority. You understand what I'm saying? And if you imagine you being a queen and you're trying to fight back, all the boys jumping on you. You understand? All the girls jumping on you because you are not the majority.
True.
So, now like I tell them, you call me sissy, punk, whatever. It don't matter, child. I know who I am.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, all that, those...
At this point, it don't bother you.
Yeah, it don't bother me. But, if you really step out of line, I'm going to put you in line.
Please. Yeah.
I'm going to put you in.
And like I said, the LGBTQ community is such a strong community. It's something that you don't want to, go against. I know as myself, I have so many friends. And that's the last thing I would ever want to do is to offend anybody.
Yeah.
But when I'm raised around it and I think about those words, I'm like, Sissy Nobi, that was the actual person's name. And when you heard those bounce songs, they like, it's like, it just, you think like, how?
So back then, it just was like, when a person was trying to be mean, they would use those words.
Yeah.
But a lot of times now we took them and we took the words back from them. And we started empowering the words. That's why you hear Sissy Nobi or Lady Fag or whatever.
Exactly.
You see we embracing what people try to take and make negative, and we making it a positive.
Thank you for clearing that up. Because I always was wondering, I was like, I wonder about this.
Yeah.
Your work ethics cannot be denied. You work like no other, from performances to rehearsals to photo shoots to social media to interviews. You have this work ethic since you were an interior designer and a party decorator by day.
I did that yesterday.
And would do several shows at night. So you still are doing the decoration.
I did it yesterday.
Wow. But at this point, what brings you the most peace? Like, what does relaxing look for Freedia?
For me, relaxing is just really being home off a tour and resting in my bed.
I love
That's
that.
it. Just relaxing.
So you don't need a spa, you don't need a vacation?
No, not really. I just at home with my family and my dogs. I have 5 dogs. So that's a lot of love when I come home and in the door. Imagine 5 children coming up to you and they miss you because you've been gone for 6 weeks or 2 months or just even a weekend. Excited. So that's a lot of love, and I just give them all love back. And, and then all the family come over. Every time I'm on tour, they all call and checking in when I come home.
They're bombarding you.
It's Big Mama dinner, It's Queen of Bounce dinner, baby.
I love it. So I wanted to ask you this. You've already explained yourself a little earlier about what New Orleans means to you, but I want you to really tell me about your relationship with New Orleans. Like, what is your relationship? If you could call New Orleans and you being in a relationship, is this like your best friend? Is this your soulmate? Like, what does New Orleans really mean to you?
Well, I definitely would say New Orleans is definitely my soulmate because it taught me all of the soul that I have, the slang, the talking, the walking. I'm a part of a little bit of everybody in New Orleans. We're all a part of each other. We bounce off each other. We feed off each other. We love off each other. We are a loving community. Even when we have trouble and stress in the streets, we all feel each other pain. That's the type of city we are. We can connect and feel when a mother is crying or when somebody lost somebody. So I definitely would say New Orleans is my soulmate because they gave me all the soul that I have and all of my swag.
Woo! I love that answer. It's so good. So you've made so much music in your career. And I know this may be a very hard question, but if you could think of your favorite song you've ever made, what would that be? If your fans could be like, this is Freedia's anthem, this is...
My favorite song right now that I've ever made is Chasing Rainbows. Yes.
Why?
Because it speaks from me being a child and what I had to go through and where I'm at now. And it just, the way that the puzzle came together on the song, it speaks my life.
I love it. I love it. So if you had to see, now you know your name is legendary and you are going to live on past your flesh. But if you want people at the end of all of this to say about Freedia, what would you want them to say about you?
What would I want them to say about me? I would want them to say that Freedia will want us to do it this way, and that is spread love and bring people together through all walks of life, no matter what. And that's what I'm about. I bring people together through every walk of life, and no matter who you are, show them the same love. And that's what I want people to remember me by and try to walk by it.
I love that. So from a little girl, your words rung through my ears. Your spirit made me want to let my spirit loose. You have exceeded what anyone has ever done for the city. You brought the city to light. You brought the city the attention it deserved. You showcased the unique aura that we have, from the moves of our body to the slang of our tongues. You are the best representation that truly shows the world what New Orleans is truly about. You're fierce, you're authentic, your unapologetic soul is piercing the souls of international people around the world. On behalf of New Orleans, I just want to say thank you, Queen.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Did you enjoy it?
I did,
It's
girl.
good.
That was fire.
This is for New Orleans,
Yes,
seriously.
baby.
This is Jasmine Yvette, and I'm here with Big Freedia on Mixed Company, New Orleans edition. Check us out next time.